Hey there everyone, Jason Tapala here from the Edge Strength and Conditioning, and I'm just going to make this little video here and just talk about nothing but the hip hinge. Now I go on about movement patterns quite a lot. Now one of the main ones, primary ones that I use is the hip hinge, along with the squats, push-pulls and everything else. But the hip hinge is one of my favourite go-to movement patterns to start off a workout. So here are a couple of my favourite hip hinge exercises. Now the first one is a standard one that I use in all my clients' routines, and I use myself quite a lot, is the kettlebell swing. Brilliant one to do. Next one is a single leg deadlift. Unilateral works that hip hinge really good on that one working leg. And the next one, I use a trap bar landmine RDL variation. So it's a trap bar, but it's attached to a landmine. It's a really good one to do, and I recommend if you see me, it's a really good one to do. Now the hip hinge is one of the most fundamental movement patterns that the hips and everyone should perform correctly. Now if you cannot master this sagittal plane movement, then you're going to compensate in another plane. Most likely is going to be like spinal rotation, which is something we don't want to do. We want to make sure we've got a good hip hinge as we perform these exercises. Also, it's a motion that if you do this rotation, is going to load up the spine quite a bit, and that's something we want to avoid quite a bit. It's loading up the hips and getting the hamstrings, the posterior chain really fired and engaged. So put simply, if your hips don't move, your lower back is going to take most of the strain, and you're going to feel it afterwards if you haven't got that proper hip hinge nailed properly. So a lot of people fear deadlifting, but however, mastering the hip hinge is a great way to prevent lower back pain, simply because we're teaching the body to transfer force or the weight with a neutral spine, and this is what I want to coach and teach a lot. It's not rounding the back, it's pushing the hips back as much as you can, getting a neutral spine, and that's how you're going to safely lift weight without injuring your back too much. So some of the benefits of performing the hip hinge correctly is, and I mentioned this just now, is strengthening up the posterior chains. Now that is the glutes and the hamstrings. So if you really want to sort of strengthen those up as much as possible to take away any sort of load that you're going to get from like your lower back. Also the benefit will balance out any anterior sort of chain dominance like your quadriceps, because a lot of people find out they're quad dominant. They do a lot of squats and a lot of leg extensions and stuff, and they find out when I'm talking to people, they're very quad dominant. So this will sort of balance the muscle groups out quite a bit. So the hip hinge is going to be really good for like balancing out and making you stronger throughout your lower body. So another benefit, it will have minimal stress on your knees and ankles. So performing the hip hinge properly, you're going to save your knees and ankles quite a bit. And the next and last benefit really is it will allow the kinetic force from your lower body to upper body in a safe manner, and that's what we want to strive when we go to the gym and make sure everything is properly queued up and your technique is like sound. So your overall goal in the hip hinge is to master the posterior weight shift in an attempt to reduce spinal injuries or any sort of back pain while lifting objects like in everyday life. So you go to the gym, you do the deadlift, single leg deadlifts, kettlebell swings, you perform that, you get stronger in that area. So when you go and do everyday life things like picking stuff off the floor, you have got that movement pattern memory already into your body, so you're going to put less stress on your spine, thus that you're not going to get any back pains in the long run. So there we go. I'm just a quick video here about the hip hinge, how I like it, a few exercises that I think are really good. Now if you do like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Also please like and share. I'll put my link to my Instagram and feed down here as well. Please get me on that, it'd be most appreciated. And I think if you do like, if you think about going to the gym, please get in contact, shoot me a message. I'll be more than happy to help you with any sort of queries you have with strength conditioning and fitness, and I shall see you on another video coming real soon.